eno ye Extreme Media UJ. Subscribe for all updates.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the matter I want to raise, it's highly tethered to this House, and that's why I seek your indulgence that we get some procedural guidance from your chair, but also from government. Uganda, alongside Kenya, is preparing to co-host the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON. And preparations have been in high gear for quite a bit of time. Parliament, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, Parliament has been appropriating money. This financial year, the next financial year, we have seen proposals. Why? Because this event presents significant opportunities for regional integration, tourism growth, and economic boost, infrastructure development, etc., etc. That's why Parliament has been appropriating money. As we speak, Right Honourable Speaker, there's been a lot of talk in the public domain. I'm sure you have encountered that, especially after the CAF report. We have not met the CAF requirements, including the Category 4 requirements that are very pivotal after inspection. Hoima City Stadium, government expenditure is so far estimated at nearly 500 billion shillings so far. That government has nearly 500 billion shillings that government has injected in this project. This stadium was completed and officially commissioned in December of 2025. But despite this commissioning of the project, technical assessments reveal the stadium does not yet meet CAF operational standards. And yet government completed and commissioned the stadium. Nambole Stadium, to which government has committed approximately 346 billion shillings to its renovation. Again, this stadium continues to exhibit major compliance gaps relative to CAF Category 4 standards. Akibua Stadium, which you have just talked about, Right Honourable Speaker, the estimated project cost is 470 billion shillings. But we understand construction progress is currently at about 30%. And yet it is one of those being looked at for AFCON, which is next year, around the corner. Training facilities at Makerere University, Chambogo University, Wankulukuku Stadium, they remain below the required standards for operational competition, international competitions. CAF is concerned about unrealistic construction timelines, slow pace of developing these facilities, roads, hotels, 5-star hotels that are non-existent. The tournament is next year. Honourable Speaker, when you compare Uganda to Kenya and TZ, the difference with us is that Uganda is heavily relying on new construction projects. Kenya and Tanzania are mostly focused on upgrading existing facilities. They are also behind schedule on a couple of things. But delays elsewhere should not justify delays here. And so I ask, are we going to be ready for AFCON 2027? We have injected heavily. We are still investing heavily. Many people are looking forward to it. But then there are these operational concerns. Are we going to be ready? Because it's just next year. But also, Right Honourable Speaker, I'm concerned about the template, if any, that government used. Because you completed Hoima City Stadium last year, commissioned it, and now they are telling us it is falling far below the standards. So what template was being used? Because I thought we should be aiming first and then shooting. We seem to be shooting first and then aiming later. There should have been a template that we were following from CAF, all these standards, and then we follow. But now we finish construction and they are telling us you've got to demolish much of what has been constructed. Honourable Speaker, I think it's important that this Parliament gets an update because the money is appropriated here. But also that the public gets to know their taxpayer money that has been injected, these billions of shillings, that it is not being put to waste. But also because the game of football, it is loved by many Ugandans. So they are very concerned whether or not we shall not hear a communication You people are not ready, so we are moving it elsewhere after causing so much excitement. I seek your indulgence that you procedurally guide on this issue because we have discussed it here, money has been passed here, and we are in the dark. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy the Prime Minister is in the house.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I want to thank my brother for raising such a pertinent issue. The fact is, we are going to be more than ready because, yes, because those remaining gaps will be bridged within this period. Between now and when AFCON will take place next year, we are ready and we are moving on very well.
Yes.
Right Honourable Speaker, the Right Honourable Prime Minister is trying to comfort us by giving a generic response and saying, we shall be ready. That's too generic. What you are saying is not in concomitant with the CAF report. It is raising several critical concerns. So it would be good that we get a proper update. When you say we shall be ready.
Where is the CAF report?
Akibua, she has a copy of it. The Prime Minister, I'm sure as Prime Minister, you have looked at that report. I would be very disappointed if the whole Prime Minister has not read the report, but I'm sure she has read that report. Akibua, for example, we are told 30%, and yet we are counting on it, we are banking on it as well as one of the AFCON facilities. So I don't think it's enough to tell us that we are going to be ready. We're just a few months away. We need a proper update on Mandela National Stadium, Hoima City Stadium that was completed and commissioned last year, but they're telling us, no, it is falling below standard. Honourable Speaker, I am not satisfied with the response of the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Honourable members, wouldn't it be right for us to discuss this when we have a report? Because now we are debating in anticipation. We are speculating actually, because we don't have a report. Maybe you have looked at the report?
Right Honorable Speaker and members, Cabinet discussed the report and we have put in place all the necessary requirements to have Uganda host CAF next year. And maybe what we can do, Right Honorable Speaker,
we finished with the CAF.
Yes, I am saying let us have a detailed report to allay the fears of my brother.
Okay. Honourable members, our next sitting will be on 15th. Will be on 15th, so we should have that report on the floor on 15th. Yes. Mehdi?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues. Right Honourable Speaker, two things. One is that the Constitutional Court recently made a ruling about the Computer Misuse Act, and its ruling was that we didn't have adequate quorum. Linus, adequate quorum for the bill to be sustained to be constitutional. So I would like to hear a response from the Attorney General as regards, yeah, I know it's a judgment, so I would like to hear from the Attorney General as regards the steps he will take towards the bill and respond to the decision of the Court of Appeal. Secondly, Right Honourable Speaker, in the same line with technology, on December the 10th, 2025, the Uganda government entered into an MOU with the United States government under the America First strategy with a brand policy of having us get a share of part of American funds, but in return to also share the medical data of all Ugandans, including mine, yours, and any other Ugandan, with the Americans. As we are pushing forward to have sovereignty and talking about the sovereignty bill.
What is sovereignty?
Sovereignty is that all power belongs to the people of Uganda, and they shall exercise it in accordance with the Constitution. And that
Honorable Medi.
Right,
Honorable
Speaker, yes, please.
Medi, we don't know about sovereignty bill. It has not yet come.
Okay, let me go to the principle.
Let's first have the first thing answered
Right,
of our bill.
True, right, Honorable Speaker, but this is also a concern. Because governments elsewhere, in return, because this has been signed, it's there, and the Attorney General will inform the nation. And other similar nations in Africa have also asked the Americans whether it's possible for them to access medical data of Americans. And the Americans said, no, you cannot access the medical data of our citizens. But with this aid, if you want it, we can access medical data of your citizens. And this is coming up with mixed reactions from all citizens of the world and citizens of Uganda, because sharing my data without my authorization, even if your government is in breach of the Data Protection Act, and it's a mere turn back to the sovereignty we were talking about, I think Ugandans, through their legislators, need to understand clearly the terms of the MOU and the terms of funding, and how your data, your medical data, my data, and everyone's medical data shall be used by the American government in order to profit from it.
Thank you. AG.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, honourable colleagues. Yes, indeed, the Constitutional Court did strike down sections 11, 23, 26, 28, and 29 of the Computer Misuse Act. The rest for lack of quorum. The rest of the Computer Misuse Act, Cap 96, is still good law and is enforceable. Of course, the purpose of the amendment that was made was to clarify and strengthen certain provisions of the law. In fact, in some instances, the provisions of the law existed, but they had just weaker penalties. And I think that is being done. We have advised our prosecutorial agencies to cease using those provisions of the law, but continue to use the rest of the law as it is. And I think there is sufficient grounds and sufficient law to regulate the use of such material. So, Right Honourable Speaker, government is processing the amendment, the Computer Misuse Act, in the Ministry of ICT, and we are going to bring it back to the House for proper enactment. So that is work ongoing. But maybe just to say that I can only call upon the public and the general public not to misuse these facilities, because there is sufficient law. Even now, it may not be as punitive as what we had in the Computer Misuse Act, but there is punishment for those that will be committed. So, Right Honourable Speaker, we are processing that, and we shall bring it back to the House for enactment at the appropriate time. On the issue of medical data and the MOU that they talk about, yes, government of Uganda entered into an agreement with the government of the USA on the sharing of data, both ways and material, and that agreement is available. I'm sure the necessary committee can request the Ministry of Health to make it available to them to look at. What I can assure members here, that no one's data can be used or shared which is not in consonance with the laws of Uganda. So indeed, the Data Protection Act is still in place, and in fact, when the committee looks at that contract, because I also see people debating these things without actually getting an opportunity to read them, so I encourage the committee to look at them. We did make it very clear that if you want to use the data of Ugandans, it must be used in accordance with the law. But the committee can look at it. But yes, there is a contract, and I cleared it. I looked at it myself, and I'm absolutely certain that it's in accordance with the laws of Uganda. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students and teachers from Namungona Parent Secondary School. They are represented by Honorable Kawalia Abubeka and Honorable Shamim of Rubaga North Constituency, Kampala. They are here to witness the proceedings. Also in the public gallery this afternoon, we have a group of leaders from Uganda Sugarcane Growers Alliance. Where are you? Please join me in welcoming them.
Both the plight of smallholder tea farmers in the greater
abalungi abatuuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tuchaddeko ewa Sheikh Asiraf Dembe.
Sebo sanyusa okubalaba amannya agange Seeka Asiraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo. Omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde tumusomereddwa, tumuwa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba, tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulomba edduwa. Abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa, ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala. Neetaze enamba yange yeeno eri 0707763711. Nammwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku dduwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze, amaka gakolongotana, sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo, ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amannya go, ebyo byokka bijja kummala. Nja kukulombera edduwa, ojja kutereera. Olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa ey'awamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.